Hey, Jerry Corley here, standupcomedyclinic.com with another episode of Ask the Joke Doctor. In this video, we're going to talk about something technical. I've been getting a lot of questions from some students and other people on YouTube saying when they record their videos, sometimes at a comedy club, they could swear that the audience's laughter was louder than what the video is showing. And they're wondering whether they did a poor job or whether or not something else is going on. And I'm going to go through 3 reasons why you feel that way and how to solve that problem. One is technical, one is actually psychological. If you like these videos, remember, hit like, subscribe, and share, because I'm sure there's other people out there that are experiencing the same thing you're experiencing, and it's a great way to build your network and form relationships. And remember, relationships are how everything in this business gets done. So make sure you use this thing in a social way to expand your network. So you're recording a video, and especially if it's done with the club's camera recording system. In most clubs, they don't employ a sound engineer. They have a camera in back of the room, and it's recording you on the stage. Now, there are 2 things going on. Most of the times, they use the microphone that comes internally in the camera. Those microphones usually suck. They're not super high quality. But a lot of these systems, especially your current cameras, they have sound filters built in, audio filters built in, that will actually determine that the voice, the strong voice, is what it's focused on, and the background noise is, say, the audience laughing, becomes now noise. And so it will intentionally dampen that noise as a filter and pick up the strong noise, which is you on the PA system through the microphone. So that's one possible situation that's going on. The other situation is psychological. We're on stage, say we're used to working open mics, where we get a ha or a that's the laughter you're getting at an open mic. And then when you go to a show that actually has an audience, any kind of laughter becomes bigger than the open mic laughter. So our brain automatically hears it louder, and we think the sound or the laughter is more than we thought. The other thing that happens, it tends to be more likely, is that we will hear the laughter and think it's less than what it really is. I see this happen a lot. See, they didn't laugh at that joke, Jerry. And I'll be like, but they did. You're just hearing them in a different way. You expect a bigger laugh or whatever, but they're laughing. They just need to warm up a little bit. And especially after you get up after there's an MC that didn't whip them into shape, and you get up there and they just seem kind of cold. So you got to break through that barrier, that stranger barrier with them, so that they can then tune into you. Now, that could happen. But I find that the technological thing is happening a lot lately, especially when you're using a club's camera system in the back of the room. When the audience laughs, which direction is the sound going from that audience laughter? Is it going towards the camera, or is it going away from the camera? If the camera's in the back of the room, that sound is going away from the camera. Now, most setups in comedy clubs are single source setups. That means they're using the ambient mic, the internal mic on the camera. They're not running a second audio track that's coming through the board. Maybe it's direct from the microphone into the camera, and they're not using boom mics over the stage to pick up audience background, and using an additional feed to go into the camera to record the master video that way. It's a single source audio. So it's the easiest setup possible. And they usually just set it to auto, which usually comes with some audio filters. One workaround that seems to work great for me, I use it all the time, is I bring my phone up, I put it on the stool, and I record the audio on the stool. So I get backup audio. And it's a simple poor man's way of doing it. You don't have to have a special setup. You can just take this mic that's in this camera, set the audio. Be sure to set it to airplane mode, because sometimes calls will come in and it will interrupt your audio recording. You don't want that to happen, right? You listen to the voicemail later. Guy's like, dude, it's me. I was going to come to your show tonight. What time is it? Well, I'm already on the stage, idiot. But thanks for ruining my night twice, because if he shuts down your audio, he's actually not showing up to the show, and then showed up to the show by ruining your audio. So that could happen too. You don't want that to happen. So set it to airplane mode so that that call goes right into voicemail and your recording continues, and you're able to get that audio recording on the phone that's sitting there on your stool. So it's going to capture that audience laughter coming to you. Another thing that people experience is I had one student said, I tried that, but then my mouth doesn't sync with the audio. If you're recording a video on your phone, on your iPhone, it's really good at getting low light, right? A low light video. So I'm going to set it to video, and that way the audio will be synced to the video and it'll be great, right? So they set it that way and they put that phone on their stool. Usually it's in selfie mode, so it's recording the ceiling. Now, if it's recording the ceiling, you're going to have different lighting issues. And so one way that iPhone gets those great low light videos is it reduces the frame rate of the video from, say, 30 or 60 frames per second down to 15 frames per second. But it's variable frame rate, so it can change during the entire recording from a 30 frames per second rate to a 15 frames per second rate, and that will throw off your sync or synchronizations of your audio when you import that audio into an editor. So you first have to run it through a frame rate stabilization framework like, say, Handbrake, which will actually take that variable frame rate setting that it recorded in, and you can click a button. It'll say, we're going to go constant frame rate at 30 frames per second, and it'll spit it back out at 30 frames per second with the audio synced with a very stable frame rate. Then you can import that video into your editor, either Adobe Premiere 2.0 that I use, or Final Cut Pro, or even Windows Movie Maker, or Apple iMovie. So usually those have the video and at least 2 audio channels that you can mess around with. So that way you'll have the audio coming into your second audio track, and you have the video that picks up you and the audio that picks up the audience. So that's a simple way, a workaround to that solution. That way you can really track how that audio sounds from you on the stage, because you're picking up with a microphone that's also on the stage. I hope this helps. Remember, like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.